Philadelphia Coliseum here in Nashville. The Tennessee Titans have won the toss, and they will receive. A beautiful day, hardly any wind, 72 degrees, and there is Jarrett Holmes, who was signed yesterday, was on the Giants practice squad last year, kicked in a regular season game for the Bears at the end of the year and was waived then. Derek Mason is back deep and will down into the end zone. Already a break for the Giants. Mason was the special teams player of the week in the AFC. So Steve McNair, who led that dramatic game-winning drive against the Steelers on the road last week with a bruised sternum, is starting this game. Up front, Brad Hopkins, Bruce Matthews, he's been around forever, Kevin Long, who's ailing, Benji Olsen, and Fred Miller, the right tackle. Eddie George and Lorenzo Neal in the backfield. Carl Pickens, the former Bengal, along with Chris Sanders at wide receiver, and Frank Wycheck, who leads the team in receiving, the tight end. Play, and McNair swings it out to Eddie George, and George picks up about 5 yards on first down. This should be a defensive struggle today. On paper, the Giants with a terrific front seven: Cedric Jones, Keith Hamilton, Christian Peter, and Michael Strahan up front, with Jesse Armstead, Mike Barrow, who used to play for Jeff Fisher in Houston, and Ryan Phillips, the other linebacker. Jason Sehorn and Dave Thomas are the corners. Sam Garnes and Sean Williams, the safeties. Secondary struggling last Sunday against Washington. 2nd and 5. The give is to George, looking for running room, and nothing there, bringing up third down.
You know, watching this offense, so much of what they do is predicated on that man, Eddie George. And he's a little frustrated right now. I don't know if he's frustrated. I watched him in practice all week, and what he was doing was he was concentrating. He'd come out of practice, he'd walk back and forth. Everything was zeroed in because he's not happy with production, as they're not as a team. When he's good, he hits the hole and forces the hole. When he slows down a little bit, or you get penetration like in that last play, that's how you can nullify him.
And you know that Jeff Fisher wants to get Eddie George going today and wants to play that smash mouth brand of football. 3rd down and 5. Out of the shotgun is McNair. He's got time, and the pass is caught. Derek Mason with a first down beyond the 40-yard line. A gain of 18 yards with Emmanuel McDaniel on the tackle.
Now, Dick, if you're watching on this past weekend's game against Washington, you'd say, how the heck are these guys getting open? Well, this one was just all matchup with a safety deep down the middle, and he just used his speed and got in front of McDaniel. There was help behind him. They were doubling Wycheck underneath, so he came clean. It's a good job by the quarterback, who had time.
Mason caught 5 passes last week against the Steelers. First down for Tennessee, 2 tight ends, and movement on the right side of the Giant line, left side of the Titans' offensive front.
That man right there is playing very well. Keith Hamilton, 75.
Defense, encroachment number 75.
Good thing you got a good word in before the penalty.
Yeah, well, regardless of the penalty, right, he's playing very well, and it's kind of weird because he's a tall guy, and he plays high, but he is really strong. I mean, he is strong. What I like about his game right now, Howie Long would love, because he's grabbing and holding on to guys, and he's letting Michael Barrow run around and make plays.
1st and 5 after the penalty. Wycheck lines up in the slot to the right, and play action rolling out, and the pass is complete to Aaron McKinney. Aaron McKinney, who caught the game-winning pass. Aaron McKinney last week, a rookie from Florida, picks up 15 yards and a first down.
In a lot of ways, the New York Giants offense and this offense are very similar in that they need their running game. And you have to have one thing that a team says, no, we got to stop this, whether it's to pass or run. This, in both these teams' cases, it's the run, and then you use that to set other things up, just like that last play was a perfect example.
Well, the Titans have been wide open thus far in the passing game. They're in Giant territory at the 37.
Keep your eye on Lorenzo Neal.
Terrific blocker, and there he is in a blocking mode for Eddie George, who picks up about 7 yards with Ryan Phillips making the stop.
That is exactly how Eddie George has to run. What he's got to be able to do, this is the first quarter, and you've got to get him in the mode where he's not dancing. He's not a dancer. When he dances, Eddie George can't dance. I think that's the name of a movie. when you put him and get him going what they call downhill, just taking off, he is really effective, and where it shows up is at the end of the game.
He can't dance, and we won't ask him. 2nd and 5 at the 32. Rodney Thomas in the backfield. In motion is Chris Sanders, stumbling back, but completing the pass to Thomas. And Jason Sehorn gets a hand on Thomas, but not before he gets to the 25, and another Titan first down.
Watching this offense, you're noticing that McNair is having time to throw, but I want you to see why. But you're going to see 1, 2, 3. There's the play action. 1, 2, boom, ball is out. Anytime the ball, he takes that 2 steps after the play action and he gets rid of it quick, it's almost impossible to get to him. And the only way to do it is you got to get pressure right up the middle.
Mike Barrow out of the game, replaced by Pete Monty. First down on the 25. Titans moving the ball impressively and controlling it. And Eddie George carries 3 or 4 defenders inside the 20-yard line, and this is a textbook drive to open the game for Tennessee.
That's very nicely done by the middle of this Tennessee offensive line. Going to watch Long, 60. Benji Olsen, 75. Bruce Matthews, 74. The inside 3, which, as you look at this in terms of matchups, that right guard and center is a matchup that the Giants should win.
Frank Wycheck lined up wide to the right. Covered by Garnes on 2nd and 4. Pass again to Kinney. And the rookie tight end close to the first down, and he has it inside the 15. Sean Williams making the tackle, a gain of 5, and no one's stopping the Titans here.
Dick, watch what they did. See, they take the tight end and they bring Sam Garnes outside. They swing the back this side, and then they bring the tight end back inside. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. If he's not there, look, you see, there's 1. You're looking down a field. That's not there. He looked out to the flat for his outlet. That wasn't there. Bing, you dump it right inside.
Mike Barrow back in the game at linebacker. First down. And let's see whether the stutter count brought Christian Peter across the line.
That's a good point, Dick. The hard count he's using effectively, which means that all week long he sees this defensive line coming hard off the ball.
Encroachment.
And for the second time, the Giants are guilty of getting across. This time, Christian Peter and a 5-yard penalty marked off.
You know, I always felt like in a stadium like this, it was so important for the home team to come out and play well immediately on the first drive. Because what it does is it brings the emotion right into the game. And when they're on your side, it's really tough.
Nice play of the drive, Matt. 1st and 5. And again, Hamilton that time. And the crowd, notice how quiet they are when the Titans have the ball, and that's by design. You'll hear them when the Giants go on offense. Larry Nemers.
Good job by the quarterback.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 75. That's half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Jim Fossil can't understand it as the Giants are biting on the hard count. 3 encroachment penalties against their defense, and it'll be first down on the 5-yard line. 1st and 1.
I think it should be an inch.
Maybe. They give it to Eddie George. He'll get the first down. Flag is down as George gets tackled at the 1-yard line by Ryan Phillips and Sam Garnes from the secondary, and the preliminary signal holding against Tennessee.
Just like the Giants were beating themselves and put themselves in this hole, now Tennessee beats themselves to
Holding.
go back.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And it's the center, Kevin Long, who's been bothered by an ankle injury lately.
You're going to watch him right inside. What he does, now he's a helper in this mode, see? They're going to block back and then come around inside. And that's what they're going to call right at the end. Actually, I don't kind of like that. He's working on Christian Peter. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. I think I didn't like the call.
The free country. 1st and 11 at the 15-yard line.
I'm allowed to be wrong.
Titans had the 1st and goal before the penalty. Scrambling around is McNair, and he throws the touchdown pass to Wycheck. Who else?
And here comes the emotion we were talking about, and now they're right in the game. But that play was brought to you by Brad Hopkins. Cedric Jones had a nice rush to the outside, and then McNair just stepped up at the end and allowed Hopkins to get the extra push. Watch on the outside. Watch Hopkins, 72. See, inside, now he comes back outside. Now watch, step up and a push. There's your pocket. Wycheck working down inside. Phillips needed to field 3. That's the third receiver. He took his eyes off him, beat him back inside.
That is Frank Wycheck's first touchdown reception of the season. Al Del Greco for the extra point, and the kick is good. So the Tennessee Titans score on the first possession of the game, putting a lot more pressure on the Giants' offensive idea to run the ball. We'll be right back. Back here in Nashville, Tennessee, Frank Wycheck, who suffered a concussion on the second series last week in Pittsburgh. A lot of injuries, and everyone seemed to heal up with the exception of Yancey Thigpen, who was out with a hamstring pull. But Wycheck, who has been a perennial leader, as a receiver. Ron Dixon returning the kick, the rookie from Lambeth University, about an hour and a half from here in the state of Tennessee, returns the kickoff to the 27-yard line. Timeout on the field. We'll be right back with the Titans leading 7-0. Frank Wycheck supporters, his family is here, as they usually are, as the Titans go 80 yards on the first drive, and now you hear what may be one of the loudest crowds in the league. Even louder now, as Tiki Barber is trapped behind the line of scrimmage, and a loss of 3 yards. Terry Collins, quarterback for the Giants, tries to come back after a rough game. Lomas Brown, Glenn Parker, Dusty Ziegler, Ron Stone, and Luke Pettigrew. An improved offensive line. Barber with Greg Camella, the fullback. Amani Toomer and Ike Hilliard, the wideouts, and Howard Cross at tight end. And we'll be seeing a lot of Ron Dayne as well. 2nd and 13, and 2 flags fly. We've had a penalty-filled first half of this first quarter, Matt.
That's going to go against Kenny Holmes. And sometimes all that noise and all the emotion can work against you as well. You know, Dick.
Neutral zone infraction on the defensive team, number 99, who jumped in the neutral zone and made the offense false start. That's a 5-yard penalty.
And that was Kenny Holmes, as Matt pointed out. Let's check the Titans defense, the strength of the team. Holmes, Fisk, Thornton, and Javon Curse, who only has a sack and a half this year thus far. Eddie Robinson, Randall Godfrey, the former Cowboy, and Greg Favors. Samari Rolls and Ard Walker, the corners. Blaine Bishop and Marcus Robertson are the safeties. 2nd down and 8. Terry Collins swings it out to Barber, and Barber, driving toward the sticks, is knocked out of bounds 3 yards shy of a first down. And right now, for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles. JB?
Dick and Matt, Detroit's 29th ranked offense got a boost here. Take a look at back stepping up. He was 3 for 4 on this drive. 9-yard strike to Jermaine Crowell for the score, 7-0 Detroit. And we know this is not taunting. This celebration allowed by the NFL. Yes, indeed. Let's take it back to Dick. And Dick, Matt can jump that high as well.
Thank you, JB. 3rd and 2. Ron Dayne is in the backfield. But Collins is going to pass to Pete Mitchell, who is tackled before he can get to the chains. And the Titans make it 3 and out for the Giants. Marcus Robertson, the free safety, on the key tackle.
Marcus Robertson read it perfectly because he made the break on Mitchell. Watch him. He's locked up on a man. When you're in man coverage, go jump your coverage. See nothing else except that 8 and that 3. And he played it perfectly. He was going up there anyway. Then he saw the ball. He made the tackle perfect.
Derek Mason with 172 return yards last week to return the kick from Brad Maynard. Giants go 3 and out, and a good high kick and a fair catch called for by Mason, and the Giants will down it at the 1-yard
just made a mistake.
But his feet are in the end zone, and there'll be a touchback.
He played it perfectly. Ron Dixon did everything right to the end. See this line? Once you touch the line and have control of the ball, unless you let go of the ball, if he touches the ball down and then let it go and rolled into the end zone, then he's fine. See this? You can't touch that. He's touching. No, it's dead. That's going to come out.
That should be taken out to the 20.
Should be taken out to the 20. He did everything right. The young player did it perfectly. Got down there, got behind the ball. He lost awareness of the field.
Now the Giants seem to be applauding as they leave the field.
The defender covering the punt punched the ball while he was touching the goal line, which is a touchback.
Right call.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Tennessee on the 20-yard line.
That's just the young player. That's a lesson learned by Dixon.
And he's going to feel the wrath from Jim Fossil right now.
You're watching Jim Fossil, and he's getting over it. And you have to do this. You have to correct and make him aware of where he's at on the field. And it's good to get mad at him. Coaching 101. Now the next thing is for him to build him back up because they need him in the offense.
Tennessee from the 20-yard line, leading 7-0. Here's George. George takes it out, close to a 5-yard pickup. Cedric Jones is there.
Watching this New York Giant defense, I think the one player who's made a difference, and we have a Titan down right now.
And it's Brad Hopkins, the left tackle.
They need Brad Hopkins. In fact, I think Brad Hopkins has been their best offensive lineman right now. I think he's playing really good football.
Well, the Tennessee Titans certainly not in gear yet this year. They are 2-1. Every game decided by 3 points. And in the last minute, including one in overtime game. Replaced by Jason Matthews at left tackle. 2nd and 5 at the 25-yard line. And the quick to the outside to Whitecheck, the tight end, who hit immediately and will lose a couple of yards on the play. Steve McNair, 7 for 7, throwing to 5 different receivers.
Yeah, the 5 is important, but more important than that is he's getting rid of the ball quick there. That ball's, he's getting it, it's in his hand. He's not allowing the Giants to get any kind of push inside.
Hopkins is back in at left tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Derek Mason, the 3rd wide receiver. Just barely got it off, and McNair may rue that as he is sacked by Barrow and Strahan, both coming in. And that'll bring up 4th down, and the Titans will have to kick.
Well, this is rushing the passer in the National Football League. See this? You have 2 here. I bring 3. You beat the 3rd man. He comes up inside. Barrow comes clean. It's perfect. The key to that was the coverage because they went tight man coverage outside. We had just been talking about getting rid of it quick. So when you tighten your coverage right away, he can't release it immediately.
Tiki Barber back deep and kicking. Craig Hentrick inside his 10-yard line as the Giants hold defensively. Good kick by Hentrick, and here is Tiki Barber, who's the Giant lone threat in special teams as a return man, but he doesn't get much and is tackled at the 41-yard line. Good field position when we come back to Nashville.
Danon Sidney's working against Reggie Stevens and Omar Stoutmire. You have to have a plan. And you also have to have a plan defensively. Now, I want you to keep watching Stoutmire on the outside. Boom, that's perfectly done. So much of this Titan team is based on special teams and maintaining field position and gaining it. And it was talked about all week long, and it looked to me like these Giants have their own game plan.
Well, right now, the Giants haven't had the ball much, coming in 2nd in the league in that department to the Vikings. 1st down from the 41, and going deep to Toomer, who drops the ball. The pass from Terry Collins was there, and Toomer dropped it. And right now, for a game break, let's check in again with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick and Matt, here's a play that went deep, and the ball was not dropped. Minnesota's Randy Moss in motion, man coverage, bye-bye. 61 yards later, he's at pay dirt. Minnesota ties it up with the Lions at 7 in Pontiac. Back to Dick and Matt.
This is an absolutely perfect shot because you just saw a big play happen, and all you have to do is catch the ball. You have a big play through New York, and they blew it.
Here's a quick out to Amani Toomer, who gets knocked out of bounds at the 45. Curiously, it was the wide receiver Toomer who had complained this week that he wasn't getting a chance to catch the long one. The longest Giant pass play has been 34 yards this year, so Toomer had an opportunity and let it go through his fingers.
Well, the quarterback put the ball right where it had to be. The ball was perfectly thrown. Toomer had beaten the defender, and the difference between, a bad play and a good play is making the catch.
And he has made big plays this year. 3rd and 6. And the pass intended for Toomer, incomplete. Defended by Denard Walker downfield. So once again, the Titan defense, the strength of the team, holds, and the Giants will have to kick.
They'll keep their defense on the field. They just don't quite trust New York, so they're going to keep it back there. Mason will go back. They'll keep their defense on, and you'll play your return team with your regular defense.
Bader getting off a career best 64-yarder in his first attempt that the Giants could not keep in play. Derek Mason is back deep. And another good kick because of its height, and the Mason calls for the fair catch, and this one goes into the end zone, and let's see, it's down by the Giants.
Great play.
At the 2-yard line, and Ron Dixon stayed in the air to knock the ball back so the Giants could down it at about the 2.
Jim Foster got on last time. See, now he's going to build them back up. That's a great play. That's perfect. That's good coaching. Watch this on the end. It was just talking about the awareness of knowing where you're at on the field. Watch the feet. Oh, boy, that's close. That's a great play by Dixon. Remember, he's touching it now. He leaves. There's the triple jump. He's fine. Oh, boy, that's real close. That's close, and a great play by Dixon.
So Ron Dixon trying to make amends for his gaffe earlier. So the Titans start from the 2-yard line. And the crowd quiets when Tennessee has the ball. Here comes pressure and the handoff to Eddie George, who takes it out to the 4.
I think Ernie Accorsi, the general manager of the New York Giants, has done a pretty good job this offseason. I think they did a good job of patching some holes. In the middle of this defense, they brought in Michael Barrow. I think that's an excellent signing, because Michael Barrow is very, very bright. One of the smart guys in this league. He loves to play. He will make people better around him. And it also brings them speed in the middle. And so in a game like this, he can latch up to Wycheck and handle him. I think that's a very key signing.
And a timeout called by the Tennessee Titans with 2nd and 8 coming up. Want to remind you the game's coming up in the second half of our Fox NFL Sunday. A big one between the Buccaneers and the Redskins in Washington. 2 of the Giants of the NFC in Game 2.
Washington had himself an excellent game last week, and they needed to have it, but really it's been the defense that has helped them. Washington last week with Brad Johnson, they kind of got back on track, but they're going to have to go against Warren Sapp and that defense, who are still smarting after last week's loss.
And of course, last year in the divisional playoff, the Bucs beat the Redskins by 1 point in a thriller, and the Redskins want to make amends at least to this point.
Dick, you and I had that game, and as we were leaving the stadium, we heard the fateful cry, "Those damn Turks." Remember that? That's all they could talk about. It was funny.
Well, Dan and Matt Turk, the center, and the kicker in that case, the holder, botched up a last chance to win. 2nd and 8 at the 4-yard line, and here is Eddie George, head down, and gets to the 5-yard line. Want to remind you that the viewers in Nashville will see that matchup between the Buccaneers and the Redskins coming up after this one. Under 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Dick Stockton, Matt Millen, and Pam Oliver here. The Tennessee Titans have won 10 straight games in this stadium, and they would set a record by winning their 11th in a row. And of course, they're so glad to have a beautiful playpen after all those years being vagabonds playing at Vanderbilt and Memphis, and after coming from Houston.
We still talk about having 300 people in the stands. Is it half of them are your family?
3rd down and 8. And again, they hand off to Eddie George, looking for the first down 6. Powers his way and has it. Sam Garnes and Jesse Armstead try to bring Eddie George down to no avail, and it's a first down Tennessee.
Well, there used to be, when this franchise, look, low man wins. There used to be a man who's in the Hall of Fame now, in Earl Campbell, and that was very Campbell-like, Campbell-esque. And all it is about leverage. Low man always wins, and it's instinctive. As you're coming upon the defender, he dropped his shoulder pads and got lower and ran right through him.
Michael Barrow, who came out of the game, you remember, on the second series, now being worked on the sideline. And that would be a huge loss if Barrow is hurt and cannot play. We have an injury timeout.
Right there on about the 24-yard line.
Barrow, who came over from the Carolina Panthers, who wanted to keep him, but because of salary cap problems could not, and the Giants gladly were able to fit him in.
He and Jesse Armstead, to me, are kind of the same player. They're both very bright. They both understand what you're doing, and this is the key. He understands what you're trying to do to them. And that's where players take their next step. That's what Michael Barrow does. That's what Jesse Armstead does. And when you have players like that, it makes the other players around you better. It picks their game up because there's just an understanding of what teams are trying to do to you. It's like he may have had a stinger. That's my professional opinion.
Well, you've been a middle linebacker, so you would know. So there is Armstead as Pete Monty replaces Barrow. 1st and 10 for the Titans, who own all the 6 first downs of this game. And Eddie George again trying to get George underway, picks up a couple of yards. The biggest rushing game that George has this year was 80 yards in the second game against Kansas City.
Right now, it looks like Christian Peter and Keith Hamilton are winning that inside battle. And that's a battle that they have to be able to contain. They're winning the line of scrimmage. But the patience will come from Mike Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator from Tennessee, just to stay with that running game because it's a long game. Just keep on pounding.
Heimerdinger came over from Denver. Les Steckel, who was here, went to Tampa Bay. Big pitch, and the pass is caught by Wycheck, and Wycheck tackled shy of the 20-yard line. And we're winding down to the end of the first quarter, a pickup of 5. That was Ryan Phillips on the stop for the Giants defense.
You know, we watched the Giants take a shot down the field, and I mentioned earlier that both these offenses kind of mirror each other. They like the running game and play action off that, but neither team really pushes the ball down the field very much, and that's been one of the criticisms of this Tennessee offense as well. But they're going to come. You have to pick your spots to take a shot.
Well, they're missing Kevin Dyson and Yancey Thigpen, so 2 of the wide receivers out of action.
But you also have Carl Pickens. You got to use him.
Yes, we haven't seen him yet, and that is the end of the first quarter here in Nashville with the score. The Titans 7 and the Giants nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. And welcome to Adelphia Coliseum as we start the second quarter. Dick Stockton, Matt Millen, Pam Oliver. 7-0 Tennessee. The Titans face 3rd and 3 on their 19-yard line. Eddie George straight ahead and may have the first down.
Boy, if he gets it, that's all Eddie George, because John Fox, the defensive coordinator, had a great call. And he brought Sean Williams down. And he had to fit. Now, that's on Sean Williams. He's got to be mad because he had the right call for the right situation. Williams came down untouched, and he was unaccounted for. And all you had to do was fit right in the hole and smack him in the face. Watch him. It's going to come down perfect. Look at this. Right into the hole. Just go attack it. Attack it. Don't wait. Good call by John Fox.
Jason Matthews is in at left tackle. Brad Hopkins is out of there. First down at the 22-yard line. And here is a play fake and a good one going deep for Chris Sanders, and it's knocked away by Jason Sehorn in a textbook play.
The first time they've taken a shot deep, and there it was. And that was on the quarterback. Jason Sehorn had the coverage, but the ball hung. You're going to watch him to the outside. Now they clear underneath. There's no one there. Sehorn's got to use speed. Watch him. Perfectly done. Excellent timing by Sehorn. On the other hand, this ball hung in the air. And had he thrown it out here, Sanders had a better chance to run right through it, and McNair knew it.
And that is the first incompletion thrown by McNair, who connected on his first 8 passes. Remember, he's playing with a bruised sternum, so you notice he touched his chest there.
It's a good good job of seeing it right there by you.
Handoff to Eddie George. George out to the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Watching Jason Sehorn there after that play, he's been holding his hand. Wonder if he didn't fall in it wrong or something. I know they're ugly gloves, but there's a hand underneath there that hurts. At least it looks like it. You know what happens most of the time you see him shaking it? You're going to watch it. Now, the good news for Sehorn is you don't have to play cornerback with your hands. However, you do have to use them to jam and also make interceptions, but he can still play if it's banged up.
3rd and 8, out of the shotgun. McNair with time, drills it, pass caught, 1st down, and carried by Derek Mason up to the 41-yard line. A gain of 17, and Mason valuable besides his special teams play.
Anatomy of a completion. You're working on your man. See what he did there perfectly. He got the hips turned of the defender. That was beautiful. He had the defender working perfectly, Emmanuel McDaniel, and once his hips were turned to the outside, that's when he broke underneath.
And the pitch to George, wending his way up the middle, trying to cut back and stop for a loss or gain of a game and a half. Right now, let's check in with Pam Oliver. Pam?
Well, Dick, linebacker Michael Barrow suffered a pinched nerve in his neck. Now they're trying to get some different shoulder pads for him because the current shoulder pads are uncomfortable. He's not wearing those at all. He is expected to return to the ball game. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. A key operative on the Giants side. Meanwhile, they're working on the left foot of Frank Wycheck on the Tennessee side.
I saw Ronnie Barnes, their head trainer, down there working at back of his neck.
2nd and 8. Sanders went in motion to the right. McNair incomplete. And he was going to the tight end, Aaron Kinney.
Now, what you've seen in the last 3 pass attempts is different from what you've watched through the whole first quarter as you look at Barnes and Barrow, because what you're doing now is they've gone to a 5-step drop. Remember earlier, Dick, we were talking about all the short stuff. He hadn't been pushing the ball down the field. Well, now he's going to a 5-step drop because he's established the line of scrimmage. This is Heimerdinger's thinking. Establish the line of scrimmage, now get back there. They're not getting any rush. And so you can take the 5-step drop.
Bashir Yamini, a undrafted rookie from Iowa, number 84, is in at wide receiver. He's got a world of speed. 3rd down and 8, and the pass to Mason. And Derek Mason running for the 1st down and out of bounds at the 45. And right now he has been the offensive hero for the Titans. And Bruce Matthews slow to get up.
What that is, Dick, that's the Chicago Bears Gary Crowton screen. And what they'll do is they're going to just throw it outside, take a step. Now get people down the field and get them blocked. You get the blockers out in front as receivers. The rule is they can't block before the ball's caught. So you get them down on top of the coverage right away, and the ball comes out, and you just find your way through.
3rd catch by Mason. Pickup of 13. Titans on the Giant 44. And here is Eddie George, who is upended. Maybe a yard, that's all. It was Cornelius Griffin and Ryan Hale in on the play. The Titans scoring on the first drive of the game, helped by 3 defensive offsides against the Giants as McNair hit Frank Wycheck for a 15-yard strike. Deadly silent when the Titans have the ball, but this crowd comes alive to try to confuse the Giant offense. 2nd and 10. Deep drop this time. Pressure from Thomas. And the pass incomplete. Trying to go up the middle to Yamini. And that will bring up 3rd and long. So that was Dave Thomas on the corner blitz.
John Fox again, he's just going to send him off the corner. And now he does not get there. He beats Matthews, but what he did is he had the whole process speeded up. Now watch, he knows he's in trouble, so he just takes it off and throws back, and it's a poor throw because he had him open inside, Yamini, but he threw it back behind him.
Thomas with the unfortunate circumstance of playing 3 times while member of the Jaguars last year and losing to the Titans all 3 times.
Hopkins and Jason Matthews has been in. Hopkins is on the sideline still.
3rd and 10, 4 wide receivers, empty backfield. Garnes putting pressure on, but this pass caught by the big rookie tight end, Aaron Kinney, and another Tennessee first down inside the 30.
Well done. Well done by McNair. Good job of feeling and understanding the pocket. Step up. Here comes Garnes. He knows he has the tackle, so you step up. It's solid in the middle. And then he's able to find him across the middle. And as you watch Kinney, the tackle's made by Monty. Monty is taking the place of Michael Barrow, and that's a matchup that the Giants felt they could win with Barrow.
An impressive start for McNair, 11 of 14, 114 yards. Titans a first down on the 28. There's a play action pass, and it's not a good one, intended for rookie tight end Mike Lee. Tennessee Titans relying on their defense, but Steve McNair off to a brilliant start in the passing department. Eddie George getting a lot of play with 12 carries, and Derek Mason, the top receiver thus far for Tennessee.
Amazing how quiet this place is. When they're on offense, they just sit on their hands.
17th play, Eddie George, and it'll be third down after a pickup of a couple. Third and about 8. Sean Williams making the tackle. And if I didn't look out here at the Coliseum and see people, I'd think that we're playing to an empty stadium.
Yeah, what you look out there and say it must be a big old barbecue going, because there is the best smell of barbecue in the air out here right now. If I wouldn't be sitting on my hands, they'd be going to the food stand.
And the Giants call their first timeout. Maybe Matt will get a snack right now when we have a break. We'll be right back. So calling their first timeout. Listen to this. Look at this ball control story. Giants have hardly tasted offense today.
Not even a sniff. Barbecue's been in their nostrils.
18th play of the drive here. Third down and 8. Tennessee's been effective on third down, and they remain so. Pass to Eddie George, and he gets inside the 10-yard line. That's been the story. Tennessee has converted on all but one third down opportunity.
And how they converted this time is a matchup that I would like. They're going to run everybody off, and then they're going to take Jesse Armstead and match him underneath. And Jesse gave a little bit too much of a cushion. Eddie George saw the cushion, took advantage of it, made his break prior to running up on him. It was enough for the first.
19-yard pickup. Eddie George with the run after the catch. First and goal at the 7. Titans threaten. And here is George. Eddie George is going to get in. Touchdown, Titans.
That was very well executed. And I want to show young players out there something about effort. Because Lorenzo Neal is the key blocker. And in the hole, Lorenzo Neal fell down. And watch this. It's an OT. There's the first one. Watch. He trips. He stays with it. He stayed with it on his hands and knees. Still got his block. And it's 6. It's a great play by Lorenzo Neal.
You have loved Lorenzo Neal every place he has been for just that reason. He's a terrific lead blocker. Al Del Greco to try to add the 14th point to the Titans. And he does. So the Giants find themselves in the same boat they were last week against Washington. In a hole, no points to show for it, and trying to run the ball. We'll be right back. Yard touchdown run by Eddie George. Well, after what the coaches told us, what has held form so far, Matt?
Well, I think the biggest thing that Jim Foss was talking to us about last night is they had to get off the field. They just had to get off the field, and Tennessee's just done a fantastic job on third down to continue drive. That's the one thing. And then I think all the talk in New York about having big plays in your offense, well, Amani Toomer dropped the big play, and you can't do that. You can't blow opportunities like that.
Kickoff by Hentrick and Ron Dixon on the return. Ron Dixon down the sideline and finally knocked out of bounds by the punter or the kickoff man, Craig Hentrick, and a good return just short of midfield. 37-yard return for Dixon. We'll be right back. Out to a 14-0 lead midway through the second quarter. Another impressive drive. This one 98 yards. Eddie George with the touchdown. 19 plays. Talk about ball control. That's been the Giants game so far this year. From the 48, Ron Dane with his first carry of the game, and he'll lose yardage. Dane carried only 5 times last week against the Redskins, stopped by Randall Godfrey.
But, you know, Dick, you can see all those things going on. What you can't have is this. You have the opportunity to make a big play. Push the ball down the field. Gain some momentum. Give a little life to your offense. Give them something to get excited about. And Amani Toomer, who was talking about that, you know, not throwing me the ball, he's got squat for catches today.
That was in the first quarter when the Giants were trailing by 7. Ike Hilliard in motion. Second down. And the pass through Pete Mitchell's hands will bring up 3rd down and 10.
Well, if you're going to have any time to throw, you're going to have to block Javon Kearse. Luke Pettigrew does a nice job on him here. Tight end to that side, so it slows him down. And Pettigrew comes down and gets a cut block on him. And actually, you'll see him at the end, he comes up hobbling. Javon Kearse is a speed player. He's got great speed on the edge. And when you take that speed away from him, he becomes average.
And he's replaced by Keith Embray, who played well last week. Crowd on its feet, 3rd and 10. Collins, and a flag is down, and the pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage. It'll be incomplete pending the penalty marker, so Kearse is on the sideline, and this will be a holding penalty against the Giants. And Jeff Fisher likes the way things have gone thus far.
Offense, number 34. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Greg Camella, the fullback, guilty of holding, so 4th down, penalty declined, and the Giants will punt.
Watch Camella working on the inside. They just grabbed him and pulled him down.
Trying to keep Eddie Robinson away from his quarterback, so Derek Mason back deep and Brad Maynard kicking for the 3rd time. And another good high kick, and once more the ball bounding into the end zone, this time a touchback. The Titans have some injury problems with Frank Wycheck and Brad Hopkins. They're questionable as to their return. Titans have the ball at the 20-yard line, and it's been an incredible story of ball control. The Titans with 2 touchdown drives of 80 and 98 yards for their 14 points.
Boy, and the 3rd downs in those things, Dick. And, you know, the guy who's come up big on those 3rd downs has been Eddie George. Remember, ran through Sam Garnes for 1, and then the catch down inside the 10. That was big.
Barrow still out with the neck injury. Pete Monty is in there, and Eddie George checked that. Rodney Thomas on the call, and nothing there, bringing up 2nd down. The Giant defense has been on the field an incredible long time today, and the offense looking to get something going for the first time. Real tough on these guys.
Yeah, but it's going to happen, Dick. And the defense just has to stay with it, because what they're going to see now is just the patience of Heimerdinger's offense. They're going to continue to run the football. They have to just get off the field on 3rd down. That'll be their big cry from here on out.
Frank Wycheck, who is out with a sprained foot, is back. Play action, roll out, pass, and it's caught by Wycheck. And Frank Wycheck with a flag down after the tackle by Ryan Phillips. A gain of 22 yards. He caught the first touchdown pass to open the scoring for the Titans.
I think this is smart football. I think it's an excellent call, working off your running game. And you have a mobile quarterback, you just combine them, and here it is.
There is no foul for a face mask on the play. 1st down.
Watch them on the top side. They're just going to drag them all the way across. See how they cleared this side out on the bottom part? And they can use the feet and the mobility of the quarterback. You just start pound, pound, pound. Now you come play action. You roll them out to the side, and you buy some time, and you allow your receiver to come to you.
Spreading the ball around has been Steve McNair. Most of the passes going to the tight end. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Rodney Thomas, the tailback, and nothing doing, and we'll lose a couple on that play. Back to the 40-yard line, and it was Hamilton and Peter, the 2 defensive tackles.
Keith Hamilton that's what Keith Hamilton does. This is what I've been watching him do pretty good. Watch him inside. He's going to get matched up on long inside. It's a matchup he should win. And that's tough for the center. But that's a great play by Hamilton. Because he's offset. The center has to take a lateral step so you lose all of your power. Hamilton sees that, so he just comes up and blows him back into the backfield and then makes the play.
Eddie George back in. Gets the handoff on 2nd and 13. Dives forward. Almost to the original line of scrimmage. Sam Garnes, the hard-hitting, strong safety, in on the play. It'll be 3rd and long.
This is Michael Strahan, and this is a player who's got to make a lot of plays. Now, you can't get blocked by a tight end. I mean, Frank Wycheck is a good receiver. If you get blocked by a tight end, I think that's not good. You know how I feel about it. I get mad about this. Michael Strahan should dominate that.
When you say that's not good, we can have a bubble above your head as far as what you really mean.
And I like it. I think Michael Strahan is a good player, but you can't get blocked by Frank Wycheck or any tight end.
3rd and 10 from the 43. This is where the Titans have killed the Giants thus far. And McNair is going to run with it. And he slides for the first down. They do it again into Giant territory at the 47.
Well, you got it. You got it. And you know how he started the whole thing? Michael Strahan got a little push. He's going to work out here on Fred Miller. Watch how he's going to dip. He's going to get to the outside edge, and he's going to force him to come up inside. Now watch McNair. McNair sees it, but look at the void. Look at the void, and then keep in mind he dives for this. He goes head first and not feet first. So whatever he gets, he gets.
8 for 9 on 3rd down conversions, including 4 for 4 on that last scoring drive. So the Titans march again. First down on the 46 of the Giants. Eddie George just dives forward to get about 4 yards. He's a different style John Riggins. It seems that he gets hit and he dives forward and gets 2.
Same thing. And what'll happen, Dick, and we'll keep our eye on it, as this game goes on, all of a sudden he's diving for 5, he's diving for 6, because you just start wearing guys out. The key to him as they go with the hurry-up right here is the interior 3 are getting a good push. You notice he's always able to step up in the pocket. That's because those inside 3 guys are giving him a pocket to step into.
They get the play off with 12 on the play clock.
There it is again.
2nd and 7, and they go the other way, and short of the first down, Chris Sanders is tackled immediately by Jason Sehorn, but the Titans move the ball to the 38-yard line of the Giants. You saw before the fact that the lights are on here at Adelphia Coliseum. We started with sunshine today, but now we have overcast as the Titans get to the line fast again.
And they're working the whole clock, too.
3rd and 2. This should be easy for them. Chris Sanders on the catch, out of bounds inside the 30, and yet another first down. That's 9 of 10 on 3rd downs for the Titans today.
This is a completely different looking Titan team than we've seen on Thursday. Not even close. I'm ridiculous. Look at her going with the hurry up here. What that does defensively is it forces you to stay with the same personnel group. And then you just run your offense from the line of scrimmage.
4 receivers. McNair with a lot of time. Mason, touchdown.
And he beat Emmanuel McDaniel, 26, on the outside. Just got behind him with speed. You're going to watch right here. Clear to the outside. Really nicely done. I mean, that is so well done. He's did everything right. It was drawn up right. He had a lot of time to throw. Mason beat him to the top side, and it was over. Carl Pickens was important in that because he sucked the defender up and cleared that whole quadrant out.
Al Del Greco makes it 21-0 Tennessee. So a whole load of problems on the shoulders of Jim Fossil because, you know, that thunder and lightning that we saw in the first 3 games of the season, pretty hard to go that way when you're down by 3 scores.
Well, it's tough, Dick. I mean, there's no question about it. You're going to watch him right in here. See, here he's going to take it and draw it back, and now that opens this up. His help is coming from the middle of the field. It's too hard to get there. And because Pickens drew that corner back inside, now McDaniel is on an island effectively from the slot with the receiver who has a two-way go, and he takes the outside, that's tough. The only way to beat that is to get pressure right away, and there was none. It was just step and throw.
Second touchdown pass by McNair, and for Derek Mason, he has caught 4 passes for 77 yards and the touchdown. So again, the Titans scoring drives of 80, 98, and 80 yards, and that is a backbreaker.
Well, they have the third downs, number one, and then when they do throw, they've had a lot of time to throw.
Greg Hendrick kicking off, and Ron Dixon, who had a 37-yard kickoff return last time, hits a brick wall and is stopped at the 25. James Cameron, the director of The Terminator, brings you his new series, Dark Angel. The 2-hour premiere kicks off Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, after the season premieres of that 70s show at Titus, right here on Fox. So now the Giants face a huge burden. Javon Kearse, who was limping off before, back in there now for the Titans. Starting from the 25. Ron Gain in at running back. And the slant is complete to Amani Toomer, and the Giants get a first down. That is their first down, and it comes with nearly 2.5 minutes to go in the first half.
That's well done. The Giants have got to establish something here. They haven't had the ball much at all. The defense has been on the field. Offensively, they've just got to establish something, but more than that, down 21, they have to have points at the end of this thing.
From the 38-yard line, another play fake.
Oh, he's wide open.
And a lot of time, and this pass to Hilliard, and it is broken up that time by Denard Walker.
Dick, he had Amani Toomer wide open. Wide open in the middle of the field. He was crossing all the way. Watch him. Come to the outside. This is his aiming point. It's down here. And there was nothing there. Marcus Robertson on the top. Nobody underneath. Blaine Bishop saw it late.
He Hilliard dropped the ball.
Yes. That's another missed opportunity. Don't beat yourself.
2nd and 10 at the 38. Tiki Barber, now the back. But they give it to Camella, and the fullback rambles forward for a gain of about 5 yards as we get to our 2-minute warning. It has been all Tennessee. Ball control, defense, you name it. 21-0. We'll be back. It's a halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. And our Fox Sports sticker will have up to the second statistics as well. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
Steve McNair is playing very, very well. He's getting rid of the ball quick, but he's also taking some shots down the field. And I think it's his offensive line who's the difference in this game.
3rd and 6. Fumble. And it's recovered by Tennessee. And it's picking it up is Marcus Robertson. So, at least in this first half, the roof is caved in on the Giants, and the Titans taking advantage. A fumble on the snap.
It's amazing. And, you know, when it's like one of those Morton Salt games. When it rains, it pours. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong for the New York Giants. The good news, as you watch the fumble exchange, which is as elementary to football as there is in this game, the good news is you can't play this bad a whole game.
And you don't have a rain, you can't put the tarp on and call it after 4.5 innings either. Turnover margin. What a difference 1 year makes, but that's the turnover today and the first of the game. And here is Rodney Thomas going around the right side, and Thomas picking up about 4 on first down.
You know, Dick, in this game, of course, in an Olympic year, you always got to like the hurdles. Rodney Thomas is thinking the same thing. So if you can't go through him, you go over him. Jason Sehorn ends up with Pete Monty finishing that thing, but actually, when you watch that, Jason Sehorn, you gotta run through a guy. You gotta wrap your arms.
Thomas had only 1 carry coming into this game. Now 2nd and 6. Pressure up the middle on McNair, but he gets it off. And the pass is ruled incomplete to Frank Wycheck.
Nice job by Williams. Just get up there and make the tackle. Jump in your coverage right away. One of the things that this Tennessee offense is trying to do is they're just using Wycheck or Eddie George back underneath. They're running the people deep, getting the wide receivers, and they're creating separation and room for that one receiver to work against either a safety or a linebacker.
3rd down and 7 from the 34. Titans have failed on only one 3rd down conversion in this first half. And there's the pass to Mason, and he can't hold on. Got one hand on it, and it was Reggie Stevens who was beaten. But the Titans are now 9 of 11 in 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, well, you're watching just the end of this. Eddie Mason stopped his route. He hesitated in the middle of it. And if he wouldn't have hesitated, this would have been another big play. Derek Mason, so many things are going so fast, I mess him up. You're going to watch Derek Mason right here. See, he slowed down right at the end.
And here's Rodney Thomas running for it. On fourth down, and the clock stops with 1 minute remaining in the first half. Titans get to the 29-yard line. Well, if they're so successful on 3rd downs, why not give it a shot on 4th downs? But now the Giants will take over on.
Well, and because, Dick, also their offense, their defense has they've been absolutely crushing the Giant offense. So why not? You're going to say, okay, you haven't done a thing to me with your offense, so I'm going to take a shot.
And that's the defense. That is the heart and soul of this team. Jeff Fisher, who played defensive back for Buddy Ryan's Chicago Bear teams, likes the hard-nosed style. 1 minute remaining in the half. First down at the 29. Terry Collins fires to Ike Hilliard into Titan territory and tackled by Marcus Robertson at the 45-yard line. 26 yards, the biggest Giant offensive play of the game.
That's well done. Working outside, he had time to throw, and there was the hurry-up. This is nice. Got to be quicker.
Here comes Kearse. Flag is down, and the pass thrown underneath to Joe Juravicius, and a minimal gain pending the penalty.
Offside, defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. Still first.
Kearse trying to anticipate the count on the shotgun, and a 5-yard penalty against the Titans. So it'll be 1st and 5 at the 40. And on cue, the crowd starts to erupt. And another flag is down. Kearse got in and claiming that there should be a fumble, but a holding call, maybe make that moot with the Giants guilty of holding.
Like, this is going to be a hold on Luke Pettigrew working against Javon Kearse.
That's right.
And what it is...
Holding, 77.
Yeah.
Penalty decline. 2nd down.
I was watching Kearse. When Kearse calls this extreme get-off. Now, keep in mind, when everybody is so loud, you have to go to other measures, a silent count, and that's what they're going to call out at the end. Actually, it doesn't bother me that much. But they go with the silent count, and the tackle can't hear. So he'll hold the hand of the guard next to him. The guard can hear the center make the calls, and then when the ball snaps, you just let the hand go and you let him play.
And they're going to review the play. So it's in the last 2 minutes. So the replay officials upstairs, not the coaches, decide that they want to take a look and review this. They want to review to see whether it is a fumble, whether the arm was going forward.
This goes back to the tuck rule. That was a fumble, it looked like. Anytime the arm is coming forward at any point, as long as it starts forward, it's considered an attempted pass. Watch. It's going back. I would say that's a fumble.
Now the Giants recovered it, so it's a matter of where the ball will be spotted. Luke Pettigrew recovered the fumble, so it won't go over to the Tennessee Titans, but the question is, where will they spot the ball with 27 seconds?
Also, it would become an incomplete pass and stop the clock as well.
Tennessee Titans taking it to the Giants here in the first half. Remember, Tennessee has won 10 straight games. All 10 they played.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The quarterback did fumble the football. It'll be second down. Penalty is still declined.
So second down and 11 coming up at the 46-yard line of Tennessee.
Where's that move out?
27 seconds left in the Giants with 2 timeouts remaining.
Got to push this down the field here.
And Collins into a crowd, and the pass is intercepted. Dean and Sidney. And that is the first interception of the year by the Titans. And it snuffs out the Giants' last bit and a half.
There's a difference between pushing the ball down the field and forcing it, Dick, and that's what he tried to do. You can't force that thing. Keep in mind you have safety help deep. So he just, that wasn't very good.
The Titans, aware that they had not intercepted a pass in the first 3 games of the year, over the head of Amani Toomer. And the Titans, with 16 seconds remaining, will get the ball on the 42-yard line, and a rough outing not only for that man, but practically the entire Giants squad here in this first half.
Everything's been going so right for him at this point. They may as well just throw the ball up and see what happens instead of taking a knee, which they'll do.
And McNair goes underneath and intended for Thomas. Flag is down.
It's going to be roughing the passer.
Personal foul. Defense, number 75. Roughing the passer. 15 yards, first down.
Right now, the Giants are not playing with any kind of poise either.
I don't know about that one. I guess
Hamilton arguing
they're
that
not happy. I guess what they're saying is Larry Nemmers is the referee, saying that he had a chance to stop and come off that. He took the one step, and then they'll allow you one. They won't allow you more than that. I didn't like that one. How about you?
No, it didn't look like it was worthy of that call. But that's the way things have gone for the Giants here in this first half. McNair, with 9 seconds to go in the first half, completes it. And that is Carl Pickens with his first catch of the game on a timeout called by Tennessee. And they're going to go for 3 with 6 seconds left in the half.
You see Jeff Fisher there on the sideline. He was looking at Alan Lowry, and he was going, you know what, I thought maybe we could have one more shot, just one more. Again, time to throw, and because of that, Pickens is working on the outside, just sitting down in that zone. And you see how he got his body? Now watch. See, he wants... See, okay, go ahead and kick it. He thought he could get one more off, get the timeout, get one more. But he's doing the right thing here by kicking it.
Al Del Greco with a streak of 14 consecutive field goals, the longest active streak in the National Football League, and he is 6 for 6 so far this year. So in a first half in which it has been total dominance, not 85% or 90, it has been total dominance by the Tennessee Titans, and will try to add 3 more points to their lead. This will be a 46-yarder with Craig Hentrick holding. And Del Greco misses as it hit the upright and came down. So the 14 field goals in a row end there as the first half also comes to an end. But Jeff Fisher's Titans hear the cheers from the capacity crowd as the Titans thoroughly dominated the Giants in every phase. As the kick hits the Goalpost and comes back. That is the end of the first half with the score, the Titans 21 and the Giants nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Lead the Giants 21-0. Eddie George, 51 yards rushing and a touchdown, and he's down on the field right now with Pam Oliver.
Thanks a lot, Eddie. Great job in the first half for this offense, moving the ball nicely, scoring touchdowns. You must be thinking this is more like it.
Yeah, we wanted to get off to a good start. I think we did that. The key now is we have to finish it. We have to finish it off. We had a decent first half. We still made some mistakes, but we had to finish off this second half.
Kudos to the offensive line as well. Did a great job for you.
Oh, yeah. We knew the challenge coming in here. We knew it was going to be a tough day running the ball. We were just trying to get the hard 2-hard 3.
Thank you very much. Back upstairs to Dick.
All right, Pam. Well, we heard Eddie George say now we have to finish him. So what do the Giants need to do to come back when nothing went right for them?
I think the first thing they have to do, you cannot beat yourself. That's the first thing. They have to get pressure on the quarterback. That's number 2. Third downs. They've got to get themselves off the field defensively. If they just handle third downs, they'll be better off automatically.
What about their offense now? They have been building everything on the run and play action, but Tennessee won't bite on the play action when they're up by 21 points.
Well, yeah, they still will early, Dick, and that's a great question because you still have to stay with the running game because that's what they do. You can't just abandon it completely. If they abandon it completely, then you play directly into the hands of the extreme get-off of Javon Curse.
Hentra kicking off to start the second half. Ron Dixon from the goal line, bringing it back for the Giants. And Dixon is tackled by Danon Sidney, who had an interception in the first half for Tennessee. Looking at the halftime statistics, the Giants 1 yard rushing.
Not good. I think the biggest thing, though, is here. This is the killer. 9 of 11. They didn't do anything on third down. And then, of course, the time of possession. They just, everything. Look, you can cross this stuff out. This has been all Titans in the first half.
First down at the 20. Ron Dayne begins at running back. Carried the ball once. He has it now, and Dayne tackled. And that play made by Randall Godfrey, the former Cowboy, and a loss of 1.
Randall Godfrey was the guy they picked up this offseason, and they wanted to upgrade that middle linebacker position instead of speed, and he did that for him. And he can flat out run, and you can match him up on like a Tiki Barber or somebody like that, and that gives them a little more flexibility in their scheme.
So after they lost the yard, they're back to square one. 0 yards rushing. Second down and 11. Sun coming out again. Tiki Barber in the game, and Terry Collins runs for the first down and slides as he gets to the 33-yard line, and a gain of 14 for Collins.
First down, Giants.
You heard Terry Bradshaw say at halftime, don't touch that dial. The Giants are going to come back and they're going to take some shots down the field, and I would expect they're going to have to do some of that, Dick. But the biggest thing they're going to have to be able to do is just play within themselves. There's nothing worse for a team than when you try to do something you're not good at.
All you can do is get one score at a time.
Bingo.
Tiki Barber. And Barber getting 7 yards on that first down play. Marcus Robertson came up to make the play along with Jason Fisk, the defensive tackle.
Both these safeties from Tennessee, Blaine Bishop and Marcus Robertson, you'll say that a lot. You'll say they came up because they do a good job of attacking. They're very aggressive at the point.
And Blaine Bishop sometimes doesn't have to come up. He is up.
Here he is right now.
2nd and 4. And Barber runs into heavy defense and is stopped short by about 2 yards by Randall Godfrey and Jason Fisk.
This little series right here, this is what Sean Payton feels comfortable with. They want to stay in third and short. They don't want to get in third long. They think this is third and manageable. And when you have the 3rd and 3 or 3rd, you have a little more options instead of, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, something like that.
Fisk running onto the field. And now they're going to adjust the play clock. 3rd down and 2. Giants with 2 tight ends, Cross and Mitchell. Crowd making its presence felt, and the handoff, nothing doing. Tiki Barber loses a yard on the play, bringing up 4th down and forcing the Giants to kick.
Boy, they came with pressure right off the corner. They were going to try to run. You're going to watch it right here. Came right inside. That's Phoenix. What a fantastic job by Phoenix. That is a great play by Phoenix. He took on Luke Pettigrew, stuffed him, turned back inside, and made the tackle.
Harry Phoenix making the play, one of the better special teams performance for the Titans. So going back is Derek Mason. And Brad Maynard will kick it away. Mason heading over to the 4-yard line and loses the ball and fumbled it and recovers. The Titans recover. For a while it looked like the Giants might have come up with the ball.
I thought the Giants had that thing. That ball was flopping around and West jumped right on top of it. Watch this at the end. Mason's going to try to go down. See, he doesn't go down. He gets his hand down. Knee doesn't touch, so he's still live. Now he's going to keep on going. Ball's out. That's a free ball right there. Now watch West come down. Oh, I think that's his ball.
And the Giants should challenge.
Watch this ball come out. He doesn't step out of bounds. That ball is clean. That's out there.
Here in Nashville, and the New York Giants are challenging that last call, claiming that they have recovered the fumble.
The key here is you can see the ball is loose, but the key is that out of bounds line outside. If in fact West is out of bounds when he gets control of the ball, then the ball would go back to the last guy who had possession, which is Mason. Mason clearly doesn't have the ball. West clearly has the ball. Question: does he have control before he hits that out of bounds mark?
And remember, it has to be indisputable visual evidence to change the initial call that it is Tennessee ball. Here's Larry Nemmers.
The Giants are challenging the ruling on the field that the New York Giant player recovered the ball in the field of play prior to going out of bounds.
And that's going to be tough to see because you don't know what West's hands are doing as he's sliding. Now, keep in mind, the ruling on the field is that it goes back to Tennessee. So unless there is, like you said, indisputable visual evidence to go contrary to the call, that call will stay.
And it is very simply a huge call right here because it could give Giants life.
What they need. This is what the Giants need. Mason's knee never went down, so the ball's free. There's no question about that. West is on top of it right there.
Was Lyle West out of bounds when he recovered it? If he was, it's Tennessee ball. If he wasn't, and they rule that way, the Giants would get it.
This is what the Giants need something to jumpstart them. They need a little bit of emotion. They need a little bit of hope. First thing that is lost is not the ball. The first thing that's lost is the shoe. Look, that is indisputable right there. Manuel McDaniel definitely had the shoe. The ball, however, is a different story.
Interesting that Derek Mason had possibly fumbled the ball, and he's been the special teams player of the week in the AFC for his great returns and has had an outstanding game in this one with a 29-yard touchdown catch and 4 receptions for 77 yards. Lyle West, who would have made the recovery if it goes that way. So this is a critical review in progress now with just less than 4 minutes gone by in this third quarter. And the decision will be made by Larry Nemmers as he reviews the different angles from upstairs.
As they're playing the song from Jeopardy in the background, makes me want to say, Alex, I'll take fumble recoveries for 100, Alex.
Giants, by the way, in the last 2 years, if this bodes well for them or not, 0 for 4 in challenges. So they're looking to cash in for once. And here comes Larry Nemmers.
with the ball was down by contact at the 7-yard line. It'll be first down at the 7 for Tennessee.
But if he was down by contact, there's no
The New
review.
York Giants will
And
not
he
be
never
charged
gave a
with a
down by
timeout.
contact sign. See if a knee touches or anything. I'm sorry, that looks like a fumble to me. I don't see anybody pointing to the ground for a down by contact as well. This is the all 22 you're going to see at the end. Let's look for the officials. Just look for an official would be right here, possibly pointing to the ground.
Well, he didn't point down. He just signaled that it was Tennessee ball. And, and if a player's down by contact, you don't review that anyway.
Exactly. And on top of that, sometimes the players fumble, sometimes I think the officials fumble.
First and 10 at the 7-yard line. And the pitch to Eddie George finds an opening. Eddie George recovers his footing, gets out of bounds after picking up the first down. Chased out of bounds by Sehorn.
Dick, remember Pam Oliver was talking to Eddie George at the end of the half, and he said, we got to get that tough 2, tough 3. Because what the tough 2, tough 3 gives you is this. After a while, they don't want to hit you. You come up there, but you got to wrap your arms and run through a guy, especially as big and strong as Eddie George.
Keep in mind that Mike Barrow, still on the sideline, suffered the pinched nerve, came out of the game in the first quarter, replaced by Pete Monty. There he is. First down at the 19 for the Titans.
Renzo Neal again. When he's in, they usually follow him.
And that's exactly what happens on this play as the Neal blocks for George, who gets about 5.
You know, there's a part in football that really relatively goes unseen. Most people don't see all the tough yards, but you can hear it sometimes. That last one I heard, and that's Lorenzo Neal. Watch him right here, 41. That was on Pete Monty. That was just pure force. And again, notice how he fell forward.
Lorenzo Neal, well traveled and well respected for his blocking. Second down and 4. McNair is dumped and down, and a loss of about 5. Michael Strahan with the sack. That's the second sack of the game for the Giants, who have really not mounted much of a pass rush this season.
Nicely done. Again, we said this earlier, that you had to be able to get some pressure. Hamilton got a push from the inside, and Strahan from the outside, and they were able to get him down. But that whole thing is set up because there was some coverage down the field, and forced him to hold on to the ball a little bit.
Third and 8 at the 21. Aaron Kinney is the tight end for the Titans, who lead it 21-0 in the pitch outside to George, getting blocking from Lorenzo Neal, and another first down. What a combination, those two.
And a good job also. Jason Matthews is there. The whole left side of the offensive line. Kinney, the tight end, on Cedric Jones. Cedric Jones, push the shoulder. Push the shoulder. See, he thought he had Eddie George with that little bit of hesitation. He jumped back inside, and when he jumped, then Kinney hooked him, and then you're down on the edge.
First and 10 at the 30 now for Tennessee. Frank Wycheck in at the tight end. The Giants getting out first down. The 20-3 tune. Play action. McNair going deep to Pickens. And the pass knocked down by Dave Thomas. Looked like he had a chance to get it as Strahan put the pressure on McNair.
Michael Strahan looked like he went in at halftime and said, you know, we got to do something. And he's working on Fred Miller. And this is what he's good at. That's an excellent job by Strahan. He set him up and then came back to the inside. Now this ball hangs a little bit. Dave Thomas does a good job of coming back to work on it.
Second down.
Well done by Michael Strahan on Fred Miller.
Second and 10, the ball at the 30-yard line. 9:11 remaining in the third. On the bootleg, McNair shows his athleticism and picks up a couple of yards. Keith Hamilton wouldn't let him get away.
Hamilton made the tackle. The play was made by Jesse Armstead. Because what they were trying to do is drag Wycheck all the way across. Keep your eyes on Wycheck. He's going to go this way. They now watch. See Jesse Armstead. He saw it. He takes off for him, and he what's called plaster the receiver. He stayed right on top of him. And because he took that primary guy away, he had nowhere to go. The tackle's made, but Armstead makes a good play.
So Armstead makes a good play, and Mike Barrow is back in the game at linebacker for the Giants. Was out with a pinched nerve. 3rd and 9. Mason in motion for the Titans. Again, plenty of time for McNair. Goes underneath to Derek Mason, and he is stopped short of the first down, and the Titans will have to kick. Pete Monty in as a nickel linebacker making the stop.
Carl Pickens little hobbling around out there. You can see him on the outside working against Jason Sehorn. You can see he's just starting to limp a little bit. They rushed 3 that time, the Giants, and they kept 8 back. And they wanted everybody to let the offense develop in front of them, then he come up and make the play.
That's Pickens who they're working on. Pickens trying to get into the flow of things with the Titans after many years with the Bengals. Craig Hentrick on the kick. Fair catch called for by Barber. So the Giants reviewing what they thought should have been a fumble. It never should have been reviewed. It was down by contact, and we'll be right back. Pickens shaken up, and the Titans have had problems with wide receivers. Kevin Dyson out for the year, and Yancey Thigpen not playing in this game with a hamstring pull.
They have those receivers are getting a little bit banged up. Early in the season, that's good news because they'll be able to come back, but you got to have those people. They do have some depth in the receiving corps, though, and they have some speed there also. That Yamini can run.
Giants start from the 18, trailing 21-0. Ron Dane on a play action. Kerry Collins pass, and it's caught by Amani Toomer, and a flag is down as the Giants get it out to the 35-yard line. Illegal hands called against Tennessee, the initial call.
Working out, Walker working outside.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 25. Penalty is declined. First down.
That's where it was. So the Giants with a first down at the 35-yard line. 17-yard pickup. Pickens still hurting over at the Titans bench. Ron Dixon lines up to the right. Play fake. Collins going up top in traffic, and the pass incomplete, intended for Toomer. And a flag is down. Denard Walker downfield covering on the play.
Walker knows it too.
And it looks like pass interference called against the Titans.
It was Denard Walker working on him. They tried to get him down that left sideline. You're going to see you have the 5 yards. You're okay. Use the sideline as your friend. Turn and look back inside. Unless they would call an arm bar on it, would be about it when that arm goes across the chest. Denard Walker didn't say anything about it. Usually a guy will argue his position.
So the Giants now at the Titan 40, and the crowd again, they must have a light saying applause and yell. That was a 25-yard penalty, and this pass to Toomer overthrown, and he gets hit by Marcus Robertson.
They're going to call immediately helmet to helmet, defenseless player. They're throwing a flag,
despite the fact that it wasn't a catchable pass. The helmet to helmet was the key.
Right down there in that same area where you had that review of the fumble, which could have been a big play for the Giants.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 31. For late hit, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, they're going to go helmet to helmet for a defenseless player. They're going to call it every time.
And Matt, going back to that fumble call, because they ruled it was down by contact, only later upstairs it does not go as a challenge, and thus the Giants don't get hit with a timeout.
The only thing I could think of on that thing is he was down. They called down by contact, but they would call the elbow being down because clearly his knees were not down.
From the 25-yard line, here's Tiki Barber trying to go outside and can't. And this time it was Keith Bullock, the rookie from Syracuse, and a loss of 1. He's their number 1 draft choice. Very fast linebacking core.
Well done also by Bullock. Just, there's one thing, Dick, about being able to run, but there's another thing of understanding the scheme and knowing how to be able to use your speed, because if he gets caught inside, it doesn't matter where you are, you're just going to run nowhere fast. But he held the outside edge and then burst.
Second and 11. Collins dumps it off to Barber. He gets by 1 defender and out of bounds. Short of the first down by about 6 yards. Randall Godfrey on the play. Well, the race for the World Series on Fox begins as the New York Yankees continue their quest for a 3rd straight World Series title. And we don't know yet who they're going to take on in Game 2 of their American League Division Series. The baseball playoffs on Fox begin this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Right now, the A's with a 1/2 game lead in the West. Seattle, they don't win, a 1-game lead over the Indians for the wild card. 3rd and 5, and this pass is ruled a catch. Close to the first down, and the Giants have it. That's Amani Toomer and a gain of 7, so the Giants move the sticks with under 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd.
And what they're doing, the offensive line is giving them some time. He's able to just step and throw. A nice job by Toomer. Laying out, making sure he has the first down. This is the best the Giants have looked, and they've also kind of picked the pace up a little bit.
Ron Dayne, the lone setback. 2 tight ends for New York. Collins, play action, going to the end zone, and Ike Hilliard is there.
Oh, I think that's
touchdown. It is Ike Hilliard for the touchdown, and the arms raised in the booth before I saw it on the field. And a 14-yard strike. And the Giants get on the scoreboard with 5:25 to go.
Very well done. Watch what they do. They're going to take him down inside. Smyroll holds the inside. You know you have the inside. The ball actually could have been thrown sooner. But Roll made a mistake. Roll looked back. See, when he looked back, then Hilliard got deep. There's 1 foot, 2 foot, beautifully done touchdown.
And Jared Holmes, the Giants' new kicker, finally getting an opportunity for a place kick. Makes good to make it 21-7. So, the second touchdown catch in as many weeks for Ike Hilliard. The Giants trail the Titans 21-7.
This thing in sync. You're going to watch over here. Kerry Collins is going to have time. And then on this side, Ike Hilliard, watch Samari-Roll's head. He's going to make the break, and his head's going to turn back inside. Watch, right there. That's when Hilliard gets depth. That's the vertical separation, and watch the feet at the end. This is beautifully done by Ike Hilliard, and also Vic Gonzalez down in the truck. Way to go, Vic.
Blew it up so we could see it better. Great job. 14-yard touchdown pass. Hilliard's 3rd TD reception of the season, and the kick by Jared Holmes goes into the end zone, and the Titans will take it out on the 20 with 5:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. And there is Yancey Thigpen with a hamstring pull, inactive today. Kevin Dyson out for the year. Now Carl Pickens with a hamstring pull, questionable as to whether he'll get back. And so just when this team thinks it's thin at wide receiver, Derek Mason steps up and has a big first half with a touchdown catch. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Steve McNair. McNair up the middle to Aaron Kinney out of the University of Florida in his 3rd year, tackled by Sean Williams after a pickup of 19.
The reason that this is so effective is because they keep Kinney in for a blocker the whole time. And he now becomes the outlet guy. And they take the regular tight end, Wycheck, and they have him spread. Now he's going to block. See, he's blocking down inside. And then once he sees he's got problems, he just dumps it down inside. Well done.
First down. And Eddie George running terrifically today, carrying defenders on his back. picking up 7 yards on the play with Garnes and Cedric Jones on the stop.
I think that's the offensive line too, Dick. They're doing an excellent job, and they're very well coached. Their coach is Hall of Fame candidate Mike Munchak, he's an outstanding young coach, and he's a great teacher. I'm really impressed with him.
And he's got Jason Matthews at left tackle with Brad Hopkins out. They only dressed 7 offensive linemen today. 2nd and 3, Eddie George. First down into Giant territory where Sean Williams makes the tackle. Eddie George, and you mentioned Earl Campbell, different size and different figure, but look at the way George runs. So let's go back to Campbell.
Well, you see what he does. Now watch the point of impact. Both of them do a great job of lowering. See how they lower their pads? Just as they're ready to get hit, boom. See how the pad level drops right away, and they run right through it. They finish the run. Both of them do it extremely well.
First down for the Titans on the Giant 48. 3:20 to go in the third quarter. Here is Eddie George. He is stopped by Hamilton and Peter on the play as we wind down to 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Dick Stockton along with Matt Millen and Pam Oliver. Game produced today by Richard Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. And most of this game played under overcast skies as the Titans at 2-1, who have played only close games, every game decided by 3 points, trying to win their 11th straight game since moving into this Coliseum.
Giants have only been able to break the rhythm of this Titan offense twice. That's it. The last series they were able to do it. We need to do it again right here. Win.
Sanders went in motion. Play fake on the rollout. And wide open is Eddie George. No one near him, and Eddie George on the reception and a first down to the 35. Gets 13 yards. Garnes on the play.
Nice play action. A lot of time to throw, and then they just run people off and dump it off underneath to Eddie. This is the best this offense has looked. Yeah, Chris Collinsworth said something at halftime that I think is really a good point, and that was last week at the end of the game when McNair came in and took them to the touchdown. It could be a defining moment for him as a quarterback, let him grow and become what they think he can be, even better than he is now.
Quick toss, and there's Aaron Kinney with the reception. Kinney, of course, coming in with a heavy heart after the Florida Gators were unceremoniously beaten by Mississippi State, the number 3 ranked team in the country yesterday, that has 5 catches on 60 yards the day after.
And as you look at Aaron Kinney, he's a big man, and he's got some bulk to him besides height, and he's a pretty decent player. He's going to get better in the blocking department. As he grows with confidence, he'll get better and better.
Second and 5 with 2 tight ends. Good blocking ahead for George, but it breaks down, and the Giants, led by Ryan Phillips, come in and throw George for a rare loss today of 3 yards.
There's one guy who, no matter what's happened, whether the offense is all in sync, out of sync, Jesse Armstead, to me, he's the heart and soul of the team, really. But he leads the defense. Not a big guy, very instinctive, smart like Michael Barrow. In fact, they kind of remind me of each other. He's a football player. He just knows how to play the game.
Rodney Thomas coming in to give Eddie George a breather. 3rd and 8. Pressure from Sehorn, and McNair goes right around him. Steve McNair runs for the first down.
You got to come under control, Dick. Great call by John Fox, the defensive coordinator. He even showed the blitz, and Rodney Thomas didn't see it. He had a block back inside. See him, he comes, he shows. Thomas has to block inside. And what he does is he got in too far and allowed him to get up high on him. You got to come under control.
And Steve McNair, with his second long scramble for a first down, gets it. His time runs down. And that will be the end of the third quarter. here in Nashville with the score. The Titans 21 and the Giants 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Fourth quarter, the Tennessee Titans lead the New York Giants 21-7.
Similarly to the Giant offense, they've really been getting on them about not pushing the ball down the field. You can see right here, they're 16 out of 20 under on 10 yards and under. But here's the significant one. They're only 1 out of 4, but they have pushed the ball down the field 4 times at least to let you know that they're at least going to take a shot at it. And they're 5 out of 8 over 10 yards.
Critical for the Giants to keep the Titans out of the end zone on this series as George gets about a yard on the play. Once again, bring up to date a big one coming up in the second half of our doubleheader, and your viewers in Nashville will see the game between the Buccaneers and the Redskins.
Big one for Washington, big one for Tampa Bay. Remember last year this one ended the Washington Redskins season. Defensively, they're much more improved. They're hoping and betting on the fact that the Washington's offense came awake last week. And I think in order for them to do that, you got to take Stephen Davis and pound it right at that defense of the Tampa Bay Bucs.
2nd and 10 at the 23. And can you be patient enough to do it is a big question for the Redskins. This is the 10th play of the drive, and McNair has it batted in the air. It looked like Hamilton got a hand on it. So that'll bring up 3rd and long.
Hamilton's battling inside. It's a good job because they doubled him, and he still was able to get his hand up. Working against Bruce Matthews, one of the oldest pro. Does a nice job of slipping to the top side. Then Kevin Long gets it. He just bats him to the side with a hand slap. That's really well done by Keith Hamilton.
So on 3rd down, Bashir Yamini comes in for the Titans as a wide receiver. The 11th play of the drive. They've had nothing but long drives today when they score.
And they're great on 3rd down.
3rd and 10. They send out a bevy of receivers, including Frank Wycheck. McNair looking to run, and his pass is caught inside the 5 by, Derek Mason again. He's been everywhere today.
He has been everywhere because his quarterback just bought some major time and allowed him to find that hole back there in that zone. The coverage was there. There was no place to throw the football. He had to pull it down and then bolt out to his left. Feels a little bit of pressure. Now move. Once he moves, that changes the discipline of the zone behind you. It's really tough to hold it. Derek Mason working on it. Now this is when he's moving. And once Stevens falls down, he sits right down in the middle of that thing. And it's another 3rd down conversion.
6 catches for 103 yards. First career 100-yard game for Mason. 1st and goal, and the pitch to Eddie George, and he's not going to get there on 1st down as he is cut down by Piedmonte.
Watch Steve McNair. Look at his eyes. So he's looking down the field. He's looking to the left. Nothing's there. So now he comes back. Look how big they got. They got big when he saw Mason. He said, "Oh, I have a chance."
And the Giants just missing a deflection or an interception. Sean Williams.
He went for the pick. Can't fault him for that.
2nd and goal at the 3. They send Lorenzo Neal, the fullback, wide to the left.
Be careful of a quarterback draw. It's wide open for a quarterback draw.
And a favorite play of the Titans. Not this time. The rollout, the pass, blocked. Would have been a touchdown, but Eddie George couldn't hold on.
Again, he bought time. In that last 3rd down conversion that he had, that play took about 8 seconds to complete. That's a long time to play defense. Now he's rolling to his right, and this is one of those opportunities. It's going to bother Eddie George, because that should have been 6. Good throw by McNair on the run. Boy, he's on. We had him a game last year here against the St. Louis Rams, and he had the same kind of day.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the Titans are 12 of 15 on 3rd down conversions. 3rd down and goal, and it's going to be the rollout. Wycheck is open, and he goes over for the score. The ball crossed the plane before he lost possession, so it goes as a Tennessee touchdown. His 2nd TD catch of the game, and the Wycheck family exults.
Dick, that's a good call. Because remember that goal line, that plane of the goal line, it extends in perpetuity throughout the entire universe. And infinity and beyond. Ball's thrown behind him, but he had it across the plane.
So it is 27-7, and Al Del Greco. So Wycheck, who probably doesn't remember much of last week, going out with a concussion on the second series against Pittsburgh.
Let's see if he has possession. The ball's out before he comes down. And now the question is the ball out before he crosses the plane? Once they kick it, it's a moot point.
That's right. The extra point by Del Greco is good. And the score now is 28-7. But the way things have gone for the Giants in the world of replay, why bother? Steve McNair with 3 touchdown passes after leading that dramatic finish against the Steelers a week ago. Completes a 14-play, 80-yard drive. Every time you look up, the Titans are going 80, 98, 80 yards per score. And Wycheck, the recipient, is second of the game. And a 28-7 lead. Craig Hentrick kicking off for Tennessee. Ron Dixon from the 3-yard line brings it back for the Giants. Cutting to the outside and a stutter step and goes out of bounds, and a late flag is thrown from upfield.
Giants are just self-destructing. That and the fact that they can't get off, their defense can't get off the field on third downs.
That was a pattern that was established on the opening series of the game.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the return team number 85. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Giants.
And a timeout, and I don't know if we have an 85 on the Giants. Campbell is 89. That's who it should have been on.
It was a kicker. How low is that?
Tennessee Titans looking for their 3rd win in 4 starts. And dominating ball control in a huge manner. On defense, the Giants with a first down from the 21. Kerry Collins pass and scooped up by Hilliard for the first down.
Go back and watch that touchdown by Frank Wycheck, because as we looked at it again in commercial, I think it's a fumble. Keep in mind, there's the plane, ball is out, and look where the ball hit the line as he's coming forward. It hit the line, which means that it had to have been behind the line in order to get to that point, which means it's a fumble. Sehorn picked it up, nobody there. It could have been a major turnaround for the Giants.
Some of these calls have left a lot to be desired today, as our viewers seen. 1st and 10 at the 34. And trying to get it to Campbell, and incomplete on first down. Right now for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in L.A. JB?
Dick and Matt, Detroit's been doing a pretty good job on Minnesota, but guess what? Randy Moss has been calling for it, and guess what? Dante goes through and follow through. 17-yard touchdown strike, but Detroit has answered back. It is now 17-16, pending the extra point. Back to Dick and Matt.
So Minnesota trying to remain undefeated. Detroit off to a surprising 3-1 start. And Tampa Bay plays Washington next on Fox. And incomplete. And Kerry Collins trying to go up the middle, and it looked like that pass was tipped.
I'll tell you who plays pretty well. Everybody talks about Javon Curse. This is Kenny Holmes. Kenny Holmes is really solid. You're going to watch him right down here in the bottom, number 99. Just takes him and just powers him, drops his pad level, and gets great push on the pocket.
3rd down and 10. 4 wide receivers. And you just mentioned Holmes, and Dixon had it and lost it out of bounds. It looked like it would have been a completed pass as Holmes got to Kerry Collins as he let go of the ball.
Well, Kenny Holmes starts the whole thing. Lomas Brown working up inside. Lomas looks to the inside to help, and then Holmes, that allows him to get the edge to put this pressure on and force the bad pass. That's the good news. The bad news, I want you to watch Dixon's head. See how he turned his head back, Dick?
Yes.
He thought he had the catch. He looked back upfield and lost the ball.
So in many cases, the Giants have shot themselves in the foot today. They're trailing by 3 touchdowns, and the punt returned by Derek Mason.
Dick, the Giants don't have that many foot for all the shots they took today.
You're right.
Rather.
28-7. We'll be back.
This little guy here.
Tennessee 28, the New York Giants 7, and it doesn't really matter where Steve McNair has been today. He has been effective wherever.
Yeah, and you know what, Dick? He's bought a lot of time out of the pocket, but remember they started off the game 3-step, ball came out quick, and they settled him down into his 5-step. The offensive line has done a fantastic job of taking away any kind of pressure.
From the 23, stumbling back, McNair, incomplete. Kinney had a shot at it, and it went off his hands.
Sam Garnes had a shot at it too. Sam's still down on the ground.
And it looks like he's hurting. Garnes, a very key man in the Giants' secondary, which is thin to begin with.
Looks like he's cramping. Of course, they have been on the field for like 900 plays.
An eternity, yes. It has been that way. So we have an official's timeout, and we'll return in just a moment. So the injury timeout, and Garnes was shaken up, and Lyle West replaces him. The Giants' ball control, that's been their story in the first 3 wins of the year, shattered today. Tennessee with 67 plays run to only 30 for New York. 2nd and 10, Eddie George. And a couple of yards on the play.
Well, this Tennessee offensive line, I think McNair has played extremely well. Eddie George has played well. Lorenzo Neal has played well. I think this offensive line, they deserve most of the credit because they've protected him extremely well, and then they've stayed on their blocks and just gotten some push and allowed Eddie George to pick up what he's had to pick up.
And the Titans have not turned the ball over after being a -6 in that department coming into this game. 3rd down and 10. Here's Eddie George. Doesn't need much of an opening. Fights his way to the 30-yard line where Jesse Armstead brings him down. And so 4th down coming up. And Hendrick will come in to kick it away with nearly 10 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. It's been all Tennessee. The Titans had a 21-0 lead at the half. The Giants got a touchdown back in the 3rd quarter, but the Titans answered that with McNair's 3rd TD strike. And now Chris Sanders is shaken up for Tennessee, another receiver injured for them.
He was trying to block somebody when Eddie George showed up, and Eddie George just drilled him. Like he didn't know where he was. He was holding on to Bashir Yamini to get off the field.
Tiki Barber back deep, and Hendrick kicking it away, and the Giants going for the block. Do not get it, and here is Barber at the 35, and Barber to the 41-yard line, maybe the 42. And looking for the block was Jack Golden.
There's Chris Sanders right there, courtesy of Eddie George. A little wobbly when he gets up. We'll be right back.
Long day for Jim Fossil and the Giants. The tone was set on the opening drive of the game when the Titans went 80 yards in 9 plays to take a 7-0 lead and haven't looked back. Giants with a 1st and 10 at their 41. Out of the shotgun, Kerry Collins pass, and it's incomplete. Dixon was the intended receiver. Now, when the Giants won their first 3 games of the season against the Cardinals, Eagles, and Bears, those were their impressive rushing numbers. But in falling behind the last 2 weeks against the Redskins and today, the running game not there.
Yeah, and you look at this, and you're talking about their offense, but I'm looking at it, and I see 10 for 18. That to me, their defense. The defense couldn't get it done today, and that really tells the story.
Had the ball for less than 13 minutes. 2nd and 10. Collins going for Monty Toomer, and Toomer makes the grab and is tackled at the 19-yard line. So a 40-yard gain, the longest of the day for the Giants, with Marcus Robertson covering.
Damon Sidney was right there, and the ball is thrown right in. Well protected. It's just step and throw. The ball is down the field. Toomer does a good job of, watch how he has his body. See, he got his body in front of Sidney. The ball came inside.
And that's the longest pass play for the Giants this season. First down, and the crowd gets into it, and the pass is deflected by Javon Curse at the line.
And Curse is a little upset at Lomas Brown. And watch Lomas Brown, number 76. Lomas just knows how to play. He just knows how to play. Curse used his speed and tried to get to the edge. And Lomas Brown even did stuff long there. He let him get to his chest. But his speed is so good, he was able to still get out there. He's playing still well.
2nd and 10 at the 19. Collins going to a wide-open Tiki Barber, who's knocked out of bounds after picking up the first down inside the 10 by Randall Godfrey.
Yeah, now he's having a little bit of, getting some time to throw out there, and he just sent Tiki Barber down that left side. It all comes down to protection. He has a little time, just step, throw. Well done.
But in the rushing department, Barber's carried 5 times, Dane only 2. Giants have to throw, obviously, at this stage. 1st and goal at the 7. Collins up the middle and off the hands of Ike Hilliard, who is defended inside the 5-yard line by Denard Walker.
Marcus Robertson also right there in the middle of that thing. It's hard to throw down there, especially to the middle of the field. They start, all of a sudden that field has shrunk, and you really have to be accurate. That should have been caught. That ball should have been caught.
That's the 4th drop today by the Giants, and the one that really hurt was the first one by Amani Toomer on a deep play when it was only 7-0. 2nd and goal. Quarterback draw. Kerry Collins gets to the 1-yard line.
Oh, nice play by Marcus Robertson. Luke Pettigrew couldn't quite get to him, and that's the block he was looking for. Remember, earlier we said it when Steve McNair had the ball and he opened up the middle. See, there's 0 defenders inside. And watch Pettigrew. He has to get down to Marcus Robertson. He missed the block. Robertson did a great job of avoiding it and still making the tackle.
He saved the touchdown that time, so it's 3rd and goal at the 1. The Giants obviously with 2 downs to push it over. And they got Ron Dane in there. And they go to Ron Dane, and he doesn't get in. 4th down coming up, and the Giants needing about a yard. With 7.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Dane will go out of the game, so the Giants may be thinking pass here. Barber is in. 4th and goal. 3 tight ends. Play fake. Collins pass, and it's caught for the touchdown by Dan Campbell, one of the 3 tight ends in the game. And the Giants scoring their 2nd touchdown of the game with 7:04 to go, and they send the kicker on. Too early to start thinking of the 2-point conversion, so Jared Holmes will come on.
Play action, it's tough to cover this tight end, especially when he fake blocks like that. You get to the back against, that's a good play call, but it's better execution.
3rd catch of the season, and the extra point by Holmes is good. Brad D'Aloiso unable to go today because of a bad back, and Dan Campbell with the touchdown catch from a yard out, and the Giants trailing the Titans now 28-14.
Fantastic.
They did in the great option pass to win it at the end. Though the kickoff by Holmes, he's been kicking it into the end zone. Derek Mason on the return. And the Giants corral Mason at the 23-yard line, and that was Omar Stoutmire. Well, the Tennessee Titans with tremendous ball control. These are their scoring drives, and you just mentioned it, Matt. 80, 98, 80, and 80 yards. And one of the most impressive ball control exhibitions we've seen in quite a while.
That's just on those drives alone, there's about 300 and almost 340 yards of offense in total yards, and the time of possession is phenomenal, almost 30 minutes.
will start from the 22-yard line with 6:53 on the clock in the fourth. Play action, and the pass overthrown to a wide-open Frank Wycheck, and he would have had a few if he caught it.
That is a nice wrinkle. Boy, I like that. Remember all game long we're showing you how they go play action and they drag Wycheck all the way across. You know, they take him and they bring him all the way back here. This time they do the same play action. They get the half roll, and then the tight end stops and jumps to the outside. And what you do is you get your defenders trying to anticipate him coming across, and they take themselves out of the play. That's a good little play.
All the defenders went after Eddie George. That was a terrific fake. Sam Garnes, by the way, back in at strong safety for the Giants. 2nd and 10, and they give it to Eddie George. And he goes nowhere. Mike Barrow making the tackle for the Giants, and a timeout called by the Giants. That is their first timeout. Remember, they challenged a fumble situation in the third quarter that would have given them a big break. Instead, they ruled it was down by contact after reviewing, which normally isn't the case, and the Giants did not get a timeout because of the challenge. It was no challenge in effect. Well, the Giants next week will face the Atlanta Falcons on the road, and then the Dallas Cowboys at home before their bye week, and then the Eagles and the Cleveland Browns. And more than anything, not so much if the Giants don't come back and become 3-2, you got to think of the confidence to keep the team up to go against these future opponents.
No question about it. Because you know how this league's a funny league. You get a little bit of confidence and the player starts playing better, and a little bit of confidence and the team becomes pretty dynamic. And actually, this game right here, you know, this at 6:40, this game is far from over. This is a major third down for the New York Giants right here.
The Titans need 8 yards here. Rodney Thomas goes wide to the right. And McNair again gets time, and he completes to Eddie George out of the backfield. And the Titans get a first down at the 39-yard line. So what else is new? A 15-yard gain. Third down has been gold for the Tennessee Titans today.
Just running everybody off and throwing back underneath. You're going to take Eddie George, run him through. Look what they do. They clear the whole area. You can see it. Look at this. The line of demarcation. Just clear him off and let him run underneath. You know, my buddy Ed Muller is just talking about this at halftime with me, saying that he's a diehard Giant fan. He said they got to do something about George. Third down, they're going to be killing him.
On first down, here's George cutting up the middle, breaking a couple of tackles, and has the first down. That is the hardest bit of running Eddie George has shown today, and they do have it.
Dick, remember in the first quarter we talked about that hard 2, hard 3, and then what it turns into as the game wears on, as you watch Benji Olsen and Jason Matthews, and just a good job. Look at him finish the run on Sam Garnes. Boy, that's a good job.
And Eddie George now with 106 yards on 29 carries, and they're 15-1 when he carries it 27 or more times. He's going for number 30 in his next. Here's George finding running room off the left side, and it takes 3 Giants to bring him down after a pickup of nearly 5, led by Garnes and Sehorn.
He does such a good job of lowering his pad level. And for any high school or little league players out there, or college guys, the whole game is about one thing. It's about leverage. It's about he who is lowest wins. Watch him finish. Watch the pad level. Watch it go down. He's even too high, but Jason Sehorn got his head down and lost his power, and George just ran right through it.
The Giants call a timeout, their second timeout, and right now we're going to join James Brown for a game break in Los Angeles. JB?
Dick and Matt, Randy Moss wanted the ball a lot more today. Well, he got his wish. Take a look at Dante Culpepper as he whips this pass here. Randy Moss with a great catch, 50-yard strike, third touchdown of the day. Third time in his career that he's had a 3-touchdown day, and they've added another 31-17. Minnesota on top. Dick and Matt.
Well, Pam Oliver with her story with Dante Culpepper, one of those rookies last year, getting a chance to start this year and has delivered in a big way. And the Vikings undefeated to this point and leading in the fourth quarter at Detroit.
So just remember this offseason, everybody's Denny Green. I was one of them. I thought Denny Green was going to really struggle with a young quarterback and an offensive line that was reshuffled. But heck, he's like the Cheshire Cat right now. The cat who got the bird.
And he also got a contract extension. 2nd and 5. Eddie George with a flag down. Picks up about the 3 yards on the play. Last year, Eddie George didn't get a 100-yard game till week 6 against New Orleans when he gained 155. He had been held under 100 to that point. Was this year until today.
Defense, offside, number 79, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Well, this has been Eddie George's day, whether it's been 3rd and short, catching the ball out of the backfield, or pounding on the inside when he's had to get the tough yards, following his blocks into the end zone. It's been mostly all Eddie George, really. And also Steve McNair buying some time, but at the end of the game, when you need to kill the clock, hand it to 27.
2nd and 1. And they give it to Eddie George, who bobbled the handoff and was tackled, and the Giants will use their last timeout after a loss of a yard.
That's their 3rd and final timeout.
Mike Barrow on the tackle. Now let's take a look at what the Titans have in their future. Remember, they're 2-1 into this game. They will travel to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. That's a win. And then Jacksonville at home, at Baltimore and Washington. So they've got 3 middle games that will be tough. The home game with Jacksonville, although they may remain undefeated here. Then the Ravens and Redskins before coming back against the Steelers.
Well, Baltimore plays them extremely well. Baltimore knows how to play this team. Jacksonville, they seem to have Jacksonville's number. Then they go to Washington, and then Pittsburgh, who's having a major upset in the making up there today. You know, just looking at Eddie George and this offense, one thing becomes clear: they're in good condition. They're in excellent shape, and I think that goes to their strength training staff with Steve Watterson and Sam Cribbs. They do an excellent job with this group. And, it gets hot and it gets all those things, but this offense just keeps on coming at you.
3rd down and 2. And Eddie George loses the ball. And the Giants recover Jason Sehorn. So it looked like another Tennessee 1st down and maybe pay dirt for Eddie George. Instead, a strip by Sehorn.
This just looks like like you're playing basketball. But he got too high and reached out and just was able to strip the ball and then recover it. And this could, at 4:44 to go, 4:43. This could be something that they need. I mean, they obviously need it. This could be something that could turn it for them.
Well, certainly the Titans have not been able to shake the Giants at this point. Sure. 2 touchdowns with 4:43 to go, although the Giants have used up all of their timeouts. From the 42, and the pass intended for Juravicius downfield, incomplete, and he was covered by Michael Booker.
Ball was thrown to the wrong side. Had to turn him around. You know, so many times you hear about teams talking about their run after catch, rack yards. Rack yards aren't on a receiver. Those run after catch yards are on the quarterback. Because if he throws the ball behind him, there's no way that you can run after catch. You have to slow yourself down. Well, he throws it like Kurt Warner's been doing. They throw it and they can run, catch the ball in stride, then you get the big play.
Collins going underneath this time to Juravicius and gets about 7 or 8 yards on the play with Blaine Bishop. That's the first time we've mentioned his name this afternoon.
Heck, we haven't had to mention much of this Tennessee defense because they haven't been on the field very often.
3rd down and 4. Giants will get 2 downs here to get the 1st down if they need it. And this pass is intercepted. And it's Denard Walker. And he was in front of the receiver and made the interception. And now we have an altercation back on the 40-yard line, and it's Javon Curse, who's all over Luke Pettigrew, who is on the ground. In any event, the Titans get the ball back after they turned it over with 4:01 to go.
Not much to say. Just, fenders over the top. Watch Pettigrew battling with Curse. Oh, boy, a little bit of... And he holds him down when it's thrown, and that's what that one's all about. And Curse doesn't like it, so he's going to get back up on the other end. Oh, good job. See how he stayed low? Oh, tried it. He tried that Alexander Carolyn move, and it didn't work.
I saw this in the Olympics.
And so Rulon Gardner stays to the top, and he gets the decision.
How about Rulon Gardner?
Big. I was proud to be an American when I watched that.
First down, that's the third turnover by the Giants in this game, and a flag is down with 4 minutes remaining, 3:59, false start.
Number 27, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So Eddie George on the false start. So Terry Collins, who has thrown 2 touchdown passes today, has also thrown 2 interceptions.
2 ugly ones, too.
His numbers today, and there was a fumbled snap as well. First and 15 for the Titans, and they're cradling the football is Bernard Walker. Eddie George with Lorenzo Neal blocking. And Sehorn comes up from the secondary along with Armstead, who trailed the play, and a gain of 2. Most of the crowd remain till just about now, and the fans starting to file toward the exits. Titans looking to clamp down on their 11th straight win since moving into Adelphia Coliseum. Never lost here. 2nd and 13. Eddie George up the middle. First down for George with Sehorn on the tackle. That's 3rd down coming up. Correction. 3rd down and 9 coming up. And again, coming up after our game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Washington Redskins. The Redskins beating the Giants last week after it looked like the roof had caved in on them after their Monday night loss to Dallas, and Tampa Bay trying to come back after licking their wounds against the Jets.
Tampa Bay's defensive scheme is the same thing. They're going to run that cover 2 stuff, the same thing that Dallas did to them on that Monday night game.
3rd and 8. George gets nothing on the play. So 4th down coming up with the 2:25 and the clock running.
We'll take this down to the 2-minute warning. Giants have used all their timeouts.
Giants had won 5 out of 6 against Tennessee or the Oilers in their history, but the last game was a victory by the Oilers 3 years ago when Jeff Fisher was 4-0 against the NFC East. 2-minute warning. We'll be back. Filing out here at Nashville, the Tennessee Titans with a 28-14 lead at the 2-minute warning. Titans will punt now. Craig Hentrick will kick it away, and Tiki Barber is back deep for the Giants. Giants trailed by 21-0 at halftime and 21-7 after 3. Not long, but high, and the Giants will let it bounce, and it goes out of bounds. Well, the head coach, Jeff Fisher, and his left guard, Bruce Matthews, teammates at USC. There's a great lineage between players in the league at USC. Let's go back to the 1980 season. They were teammates in 79 and 80. That was Fisher. This is Matthews. And the 1980 squad, there is Marcus Allen below. And there is Fisher on the left. Ronnie Lott. Chip Banks was also on this team. Many of the great stars in the National Football League were Trojans.
Played against a lot of those guys. They had some great players under John Robinson out there at USC, and Jeff Fisher was right in the middle of that whole thing. 1980. That's just the 1980 team. They were good for a long time.
Collins with the first down at the 26-yard line, and his pass nearly intercepted by Samari Rolle.
I remember earlier we saw that takedown by Javon Curse working on Luke Pettigrew, and now it's going to continue. Now that's a chip. They're going to chip him with Tiki Barber, and then it just turned into a wrestling match to the inside. Ooh, and a whole lot of shaking going on.
Titans getting one quarterback sack today. Of course, everyone seems to be double-teaming Curse.
Well, they at least chip him.
And movement, and we'll see whether that may go as a false start. You know, coming into the series, the Giants had run 41 plays, Matt. Eddie George involved in 39 plays himself.
So it's we talked about Eddie George. It's like the Giants versus Eddie George here today.
Just about.
False start, offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So a breakout game for Eddie George, and you knew that Jeff Fisher wanted to get him underway after 3 subpar games for him in the rushing department.
I don't think the country knows exactly how good of a coach Jeff Fisher is. I think they describe him as old school. He likes to practice hard. He likes to get after his players. He likes them physical. I think that's a lot of stuff he picked up when he was at SC.
2nd and 15, Collins finds Tiki Barber, and Barber, trying to turn the corner, is tackled at the 31-yard line, about 5 yards shy of a first down by Randall Godfrey. The one thing Jeff Fisher has is great feel, I think, as a coach.
Yeah, I think he knows his team, and he knows what he wants. But, you know, one thing he wouldn't want is Javon Curse to get into any kind of personal matches. And that's exactly what he's gotten himself into with Pettigrew. Now, Pettigrew's holding the heck out of him out there. But
3rd and 4, Ike Hilliard with the first down, close to the 40-yard line as the clock continues to run. The Giants out of timeouts with a hurry-up, trailing by 2 touchdowns, and they spike the ball to stop the clock at 1:02. Now the Giants down by 14 points. They need a score, an onside kick, and another score, and that doesn't even include whether they go for 1 or 2 points. Obviously, if they do manage to score a touchdown, they get settled for 1 right away, and that's what they're thinking of right now.
Well, you never say die. You can't. But you have 62 seconds to do it.
Out of the backfield, Tiki Barber, and the Giants get into Titan territory. Danon Sidney, who has an interception today, on the tackle, clock running.
He's got to kill it right here as fast as he can.
45 seconds to go, and he does. So 42 show on the clock, and then we tick another one off on the Fox box just for good measure.
Titans will have set a new NFL record.
So the crowd being informed that a new NFL record, their 11th straight win in new home, breaking the old record established by the Dallas Cowboys at Texas Stadium. Collins going deep to Toomer. And Toomer looked like he had it and then lost it as he's defended back there by Rolle.
When Collins has to be just a pure throwing guy with nothing else, this is not easy for him. He's not very effective. It's just tough right now. You know you're going to throw, and everybody's just hanging behind you. He's best when he has that running game to work off, when he can work his play action. That's what he's best.
And when you fall behind, as the Giants did last week against the Redskins, you can't use this guy, Ron Dayne. Dayne today with only a couple of carries. 33 seconds on the clock. And there's the pass, and that's intercepted by Samari Rolle. Down the sideline. And out of bounds. So that is the 3rd interception by the Titans after coming up empty in that department in their first 3 games.
That's a force, Dick. Again, remember the difference between pushing the ball down the field and forcing the ball down the field. It's a completely different deal. When you push the ball down the field, you're going to take what they can give you. When you're forcing it, you're throwing it into a coverage that you don't have a shot. He had Rawls sitting behind him the whole time. He just tried to force the ball in.
Well, the Titans, who last year's first half of the year were 6-2, and 5 of their losses totaled 11 points. So they're used to playing close games, but they were able to have a kind of a breather this afternoon as they're headed for 3-1 on the year. And the Giants will drop to 3-2, and so the Giants go to Atlanta and have to be concerned a little bit with confidence after these 2 games as the Tennessee Titans